A Father's Poem for Howard Glenn Browning, PapaB. It doesn't come without warning. A tap on the shoulder, bear hug bending over his grandchild's frame. A firm kiss planted on the cheek before grabbing your stare and pulling you into a world moving in his eyes. A slight grin with his furrowed brow and head bowed, the blink of an eye, the way that time flashes in a blink of an eye. The subtle backdrop of memories flashing at the speed of light, the hum of his voice echoing and fading at the same time. It would be that his voice is calling. We now know for sure that his voice will always be calling. The constant calls he'd make to check on you becomes an etched sound wave in your mind. This is good. This is his voice. This is how we remember. The times he said he was resting his eyes, but really he was asleep. We'd sit around and listen to the stories he'd shout out, both eyes closed, a little snore, mouth open, head leaning to the right, then to the left. He'd gracefully open his eyes and see us laughing. He'd smile, saying he wasn't asleep, but we'd keep on laughing. His hand gripping the cane as he walked by, inviting you in on a conversation. And depending on what day this happens, you might get pulled into the history of something, a memory of when he did this or that, stories about his upbringing you'd hear 100 times, nodding off, trying to stay alert. He'd take you back to sleep, tell you another story, then wake you up with a call and response, and you'd respond. I know, right? This whole process could take an hour or hours, but if you played your cards right, you'd sneak in a task of something you have to do, signal the alarm on your phone to go off and act like it's urgent, slide to the floor and crawl out the back door when he nods off mid-sentence. The constant glance at the big screen watching old westerns, or be it watching him, his eyes dim, glancing up at each passerby, dozing off, then waking up at the tap of a finger. Papa, Papa, Dad, Dad Browning, PapaB, husband, whatever you call him. His statue of a Marine Corps sitting upright in his favorite chair, a mix of brown or maybe it was black, sits curved, molded to the back of his shoulders. This was his chair, and with a firm stare you'd rise up and make your way to the couch when he entered. It doesn't come without warning. A teardrop in the midst of making dinner, flashbacks surrounding your thoughts of his breath, a moment of silence when that one time of laughter brings a smile to your face, like the one time I decided to clean the bathroom and used a little too much bleach. He'd awakened from a hard nap, rolled through the hallway like he was on the battlefield, stood attention and peeped through the cracks of the bathroom. He was trying to find a way of escape, elbows to his chest with the thick black strips under his eyes. He thought I was making an atomic bomb. To him, this was war, moments of laughter. Or the times he'd bicker back and forth with his subtle jokes, raising the eyebrow of his wife, Della. They had the old people been married for 51 years bickering down. Della would be minding her business and drinking her water until he said something smart. She'd put her hands on her hips and muster out her response now. Look here, sir. She'd grin, swaying her hips to the side while giving him the side eye, often busting out in a deep, melodious hymn. Then they'd smile, kiss, repeat. Lots of laughter. The sudden memories will hit. Time will sit still for more than a moment. It may seem that all is gone, that the world is spinning and life is different, that every day holds a different meaning, far from a life without him in it. This is normal. This is grief. This is God's way of saying you are human, reminding us that our departure is part of the bigger picture, that someday we'll all follow the path of holding our last breath and exhale into God's love. This is a fair warning that nothing can dim his light, not death, not defeat. Not the memories of his bare hands, strong enough to carry a family united on his shoulders, the grit and man bones of his protection, the stare and smile, the kiss on your cheek, and before the day ends, laughter for these memories. This is how we remember. And we've got too much of your love to ever forget you.